The strongest solar flare in 7 years has recently emitted from our local sun. This was a strong R3 flare, and it hit our sphere around Friday, October the 4th, 2024. Going back 7 years, remember that was 2017 when this last flare came to help seed this first wave of this light. And it was shortly after that in 2018, many of you have noticed that was when you started your awakening journey, or there was a big shift in your life that put you on a path to help lead you to an awakening journey. The night of October 4th, in visions, I saw and felt this energy, and I heard the Archangel Gatekeeper say, "Let in Charas." Charas means grace, and this is taught in the Pearl Code as an extension of the light-giving light. This is the very light that slowly descends from the Shekinah gateway, which we teach thoroughly in the Shekinah Codex, which is that center sphere that we went over in our previous video of the Metatron coded cube, to feed the Cephalus seeds, which are also taught as Zerah in Hebrew. The Cephalus seeds are those of the light seed, which is that luminous pearl. That is the Christos. That is the true garments of glory. That's taught today as the white light brotherhood that descended from the luminous aeon into this current aeon copy. The aeon copied is going to be that of the material, which is that of the chaos. These light seeds then fractalize to create what's called the Melchizedek order, as well as create spiritual stations within the 8th realm above the 7th earthly heaven of this aeon copy. Now, it is between the 8th and the 7th realm that you have the Grand Red Curtain or the Grand Jasper River, as we teach it in the Shekinah Codex. This is where those of the first baptism of light ascend prior to traversing the Jasper River, which is a Red Seed code, into the 4th eternal realm of the luminous aeon before returning back into the Pearl Garden and returning back into your original form. These light seeds are here to help seed this charas. They create part of that honeycomb lattice, which is that golden fishnet that we teach in the books, when they awaken. So when they awaken, it is that pillar of light that is above them that is part of that honeycomb structure, okay? So this pillar of light is what they need to be able to anchor the charas into, because they are part of the garments of glory. They have access to the luminous pearl light, which is that pure light. That is what's called the virgin. The virgin means purity. And so they are the ones that's able to have that come in. This is also taught in ancient Gnostic and Kabbalah teachings as the chasmiel, as well as the electron. That's electron with a K. You can reference the Shekinah Codex under the TZ19 and Ra 2 teachings for thorough teachings on that information. To reference some of that, we have in Kabbalah teachings, electron is a protective garment against evil. The chasmiel is seen as amber stones or an amber color metal garment. And what God's source speaks about prior to this in the Shekinah Codex is that the human blood houses densified version of this holy lightning, which is that charas. This is a divine honey that flows through your veins when you ignite your Christ seed within you during your awakening. And this is what is seen as flickering like fire. And those of you who close your eyes, and even in the dark, and if you take your eyes and you look up towards your forehead, you will see flashing light. And that is that flickering that they're talking about. It is, when the Seraphim go over this, they teach it is our sparks that then became flashes and flames of our light. It is this light that descends to become into mortal bodies of males and females. It is these bodies that will transform their way of their light body, which are the winds. It is through these bodies that we will anchor the blue sapphire light, these burning fires. It is through this fire that flames and sparks emit to transform the blood cells. It is through this flowing electron that they are encompassed into chasmiels of light. So you yourself become a sun and you emit like these solar flares, these chasmiels of light, which you first start to see it around you as sparkling diamond light. You will see it sometimes in the corner of your eye, and then you will start to see it in these tiny pinpoint lights around you, mostly when you are standing and connecting to the actual sun. It is in that moment that they will then harvest the yoke of the kingdom of heaven. It is the gathering of the chosen sparks that is to come. This is also the cleansing of the earth grid by way of assisting the lost sparks home as they escort these sparks into the gates of 6, which surrounds the Shekinah gateway, which we just spoke about in the previous video of the Metatron cube. They will then change again into their former shape, which is that of the luminous garments of glory, which is the pearl, that is your pearl body. This light we speak of emits as amber stones by way of solar flares, both from the external sun and your internal sun. As each tier of light, it causes agitation to arise as each tier of this light drips. This is seen in the Aeon copied as a sudden rise in wars of domination, ignorance, emotional outbursts, depression, unexpected deaths rising, natural disasters, confusion, and more. To the light seeds, it is seen as pure bliss arising within you by way of the seal that is placed by Archangel Gabriel, who acts as a messenger for this luminous pearl. Think of this seal on your head as a wax seal placed upon a precious jar, that when it's hot enough, it will then emit a flame so bright that it will then transform this entire jar into light itself. As this wax begins to melt, because it is above your crown, it will cause intense headaches. And I see this around people in light orange color. You will also see these sparks of light that I'm talking about around your head because of this initiation, because of what is happening. Some are seeing visions of this color, of this beautiful light orange, as well as the sun itself. Some are also seeing visions of flames of fire, of lava boiling, lava in the sky, and even a phoenix. The phoenix signifies the second baptism taught in the ancient Pearl Code teachings. Some are seeing visions of a tree of life, which of the 3 trees it is will be denoted by your own vision, and that is something you have to go within to figure out. To reference to Pearl Code teachings, there are 3 baptisms. Now, this is very ancient. This is nothing new. The 3 baptisms align with the 3 fruits and the 3 timelines within the 3 parts of the Aeon copy. The first baptism is spiritual, and it offers immortality by way of the garments of glory and the 5 seals. The second baptism is that of fire by way of the psychial. This beholds the image of a phoenix because you traverse around the material sun for 1,000 years. The third baptism is that of water, and it beholds the image of a water serpent. This duration is in accordance to how it is written in the Book of Death. These ancient teachings were hidden due to the Council of Nicaea and the formation of the Roman Church around 325 AD. You guys can research that to figure out and connect your own dots. Some of this work is called today as part of the Gnostic and Essene manuscripts. They were hidden in the sands of time in Egypt to be found during this current wave of time because we once kept these teachings in the Library of Alexandria before it was set ablaze. Imagine all ancient wisdom once brought here by these beautiful masters of light, by the Melchizedek order, set ablaze in front of you. Then you were all told, if you speak of this, if you have manuscripts of this, you will be persecuted. If you speak the tongue, you will be persecuted. Then what happens? Does it not then become lost? Does this not take us back to that time as well when this was set in place and Constantine I became that first Roman ruler to then convert? You then could not worship the gods, even though your ancestors that all came before you, this had been their traditions. But you will be punished and put to death if you have the Olympic Games, if you worship them, because was then taught as a way of paganism, which you can figure those codes out there. But why did this happen? Well, this happened because they wanted to pull fragments of these true teachings that were really happening, that the ancients were worshiping, that they were bringing forth. And they wanted to lace it with these false stories to create this new religion to help conquer the world that is so coded that the people will then believe them to be true and see it as real people and events instead of a coded teaching that was once taught by the light seeds who came here to help show the three atomas, which this will go over later. This, if you guys have done true spiritual work, true spiritual teachings of ancient Gnostic teachings, of any of these ancient documents that have been brought forth, you know that the three atoms are taught as different man races that were seated by the seven rulers. So they did this to help, basically, when you read stuff, you're always going to have a little bit of laced truth in there, but it's so coded that you have to go within to figure it out. You cannot use that of the mind because you're not going to be able to decode it. So these teachings that were really originally brought were here to help show the way. The way just basically means the truth. The truth itself, which is that of the luminous light. That's what the truth means. It's not about expressing your truth. There is only one truth. And that one truth, when those who truly want to ascend flesh and return back into light, you have to know the one truth, which is the light. And that light is the way because it is the one truth. And if this sounds familiar, well, that's because we're seeing history being distorted today as well as, being erased and stuff like that because it wants to create a new paradigm. It is because of this ignorance and this lust for domination and power that the Assembly of Salvation was put into place to seed a new stream of wisdom by way of the Christos honey. We teach it as honey. It doesn't literally mean honey, okay? And we are witnessing this light happen today, rain down and more. This is why as of 2020, the sun turned white. Because remember, this last big flare came in 2017, and then it took a couple years because everything takes 3, right? Came in at 17, took 3 days. It's no different than how long does it take for this light to reach? Took 3 years, excuse me. It takes 3 days for this to reach from the sun to us when things happen, right? It takes 3 years for it to come from the center universal sun, right, to hit our local sun. That's why in 2017, when bam, this new light started to come down when the gates opened to help, okay, the light comes in. Imagine it comes in from the aeon of the luminous light. It rains down, it comes in, it hits the center universal sun, 2017, and that same moment, bam, that's when also, of course, the solar flares are going to happen because they're more immediate. Comes through our local sun, hits us 2017. It takes from 2017, 3 whole years, 2020, for the sun to then be transformed itself into white, okay? And then we fast forward 3 years, and you see what happened in 2023. You see the change. You guys saw the divide happening. So use your eyes. Use your eyes to see beyond the physical. Really look at it's all around you, right? So the thing is, will you drink from this stream of wisdom that is raining down to help your seed sprout and expand? Or will you continue to follow ways of the seeds of imitation? Those on a spiritual journey, I ask you to reflect on what you're doing. I don't need you to comment it in the comments. This is for you to reflect within yourself. Is it helping you gain more spiritual wisdom that unifies you more with this light-giving luminous light? Or is it keeping you in loops of earthly traditions and keeping up with appearances of a trending fad? Spirituality is not a fad. It does not need social media communities, astral trips, and money-grabbing schemes. That of spirit is not that of the material, for the material is an imitation of the spiritual. When the final light emits and the light seeds are seen by select ones ascending into the bubble of fire that's going to happen and be in that sky, will that be when you finally suddenly, oh my gosh, all of a sudden gain faith? But I must advise you, true faith is not found that way by seeing something that's visible. True faith is found in the invisible, and that is the luminous light that is inside of you. It will never be conquered by anything outside of you. It will never be conquered by anything material because it is not material. You are not material. You are this eternal light. Just like energy that you feel from that solar flare. The imitation is designed to make you think it is the sun that does this. but it is what is inside of the sun and what works through the sun that is filled. And this beautiful sparks of light is the charis. This is the ascension of God. That is the grace of divine that is inside of you all. It's time to emit your light.